Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we will be watching Did the Future Already Happen? The Paradox of Time by Kurzgesagt. I really wish I knew how to pronounce that, but I don't. But yeah, in a nutshell, right here, Did the Future Already Happen? And yeah, let's get right into it.
Right now, are you watching this video, being born and lying on your deathbed at this very moment? Surprisingly, the answer could be yes. But how can that be? What does that even mean? How does time work? The block universe. Imagine the universe like a child painting pictures on paper. Each picture shows everything that's happening in the universe in a single moment. With each new moment, all kinds of things occur everywhere. People are born and die, galactic civilizations expand, you miss the bus. And our universe kid makes a new picture that replaces the old one. In this way, you get something like a movie. Only the moment we're in right now is real. The past is what happened before. Now it's
Is that the bird from Duolingo? Is that? I need to know.
gone. The future is still to come and hasn't been drawn yet. This is kind of how time feels, right? Each moment being replaced by the next one. The past is far behind
Sorry
us,
about the
the
connection,
future
guys.
doesn't exist. But what if time is something else? What if the universe kid has already finished all its drawings and stacks them on top of each other? This way, we get a block of time that contains the whole history of the universe. All moments that have ever existed or will ever exist. But in this block, in this stack of moments, the past, the
Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. Back in the stream here. And I think I just figured out how to pull up my chat for the first time. So this is Did the Future Already Happen? The Paradox of Time.
Do your past, present, and future all exist right now? Are you watching this video, being born and lying on your deathbed at this very moment? Surprisingly, the answer could be yes. But how can that be? What does that even mean? How does time work? The block universe. Imagine the universe like a child painting pictures on
Yeah, I
paper.
don't.
Each picture shows everything that's happening in the
Sorry, my connection's
universe in
really
a single
slow.
moment.
But time, this is funny concept about time because really, in my opinion, I don't think we'll really ever know what time really is. I just think it's a tool that helps us schedule our day better. I've said that before. It's kind of what I figure now. But as far as like what it actually is, it's just a ton of numbers. I mean, you could use it to identify age and things, but like none of that stuff is like we don't really know exactly how to explain time. It's just things, it's just kind of how we age. if this was true, then this is like the same argument as people who argue free will and who say we don't have free will. They're pretty much just saying, like, if you ever heard of the argument for free will and deciding where we have it, well, people will be like, well, to someone who's never looked into it, it's pretty much just an idea that, like, all of our decisions are predetermined for whatever reason, whether it's because of the environment influence based off the way we were living, or whether it's based off of the history of the universe, and it's just already, it's already made out for us, and so we can like to think that we have the ability to choose options, but this kind of restricts us on really understanding if we actually do. I think the idea of having everything in our life already predetermined, like in the universe, like the future's already set in stone, isn't the craziest idea. People don't want to like believe that's true because it's like, well, what do you mean I can't make decisions for myself? But it's like, whether it's true or not, first of all, it's one of those things you'll just never really know. I mean, people will like to think that they know, like, just because you have the ability to make that option doesn't really mean that you have the ability to make that option. Maybe that decision that you ends up choosing is already determined. And if, you don't really know. So it's like, I know like how it can be like kind of, people are like, well, no, I have this option and things, but time and future could already really be laid out for us. And the argument is 50-50. I don't think one makes more sense than the other. I think half of it could be that we actually do have the ability to make our own decisions and do whatever we want. And I think the other half could be a possibility that we can't, and it's already all predetermined. This is actually makes sense because, I mean, think about it like on a huge aspect of things. Like, don't think of it as just someone jumping in the air, but like if someone were to go into space, and someone were to just stay here, if you were to go into space, time's moving different in space for everybody. It's differently. If you were to go into space with two, three, four, five different people and y'all were to go in different directions, you guys would all be affected by time in a different way, I think. Depending on where you go, where you end up, and how far you go, and how you'll end up coming back and things. Hey, what's going on, Lawton's finest? I'm just going over the future already happened, the paradox of time. And right now they are talking about how time moves differently for everybody depending on how fast we are moving. I'm doing good though. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. That's true. I mean, think about like how many different time zones there are. Like, how does that even make sense? How is it in the future somewhere else, yet in the past somewhere else? That doesn't kind of really make sense. So that just makes sense in general. Like just on the basis of the regular world and Earth. I mean, this is a huge what if, and the reason why this is kind of not really worth it to argue, and is because like you can't be in two places at once. You know, you can't. There's a reason they're using an alien reference far away. You know, you can't really be in two places at once. So to say like the future's now and the past is then, like, you really don't. You're going based off of where an alien would be at. If you physically could be in two places at once, like, you can't go into space and communicate with yourself in the past. That's just not possible. But I guess it could be possible if you go into space and communicate with people and ancestors from back then. But I don't really get, like, I mean, that could actually be possible. I could see, you go, because think about, like, space is time, like what they're saying. So you go to a certain part in space, like, what if you were to just, like, move backwards around the Earth? Or, like, I don't fucking know, like, just go, I don't know. I see what it's saying, though. I do get what it's saying. And I'm glad you're doing better slowly on the root canal. I hope you feel better soon, man. I got to get my wisdom teeth taken out, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. Let me know if y'all think that's propaganda or not. That's the reason I've been holding back for so long, but they're saying it's going to, like, push my teeth. On a spiritual level, I don't think that we were meant to do this. Because, I mean, you can look into the past, you can look into the future, and you can fix every mistake that's ever been appeared. But I don't think that that's what was supposed to happen. You can do things correctly, but that's just not how things are supposed to happen. You're supposed to just live life in the present and keep going how it is. If we ever learn to communicate with the future or past self, it would be a self-destructive thing for the whole world, I feel like. See, I just don't think this really makes sense, to be honest. Because you're just saying that there's three of us. That's just not true. There's not three physical people, it could be something that's possible in like, okay, if I found out, I'm a very gullible person when it comes to, like, introducing different perspectives on things that aren't proven. So if you were to sit here and tell me that my future self exists and my past self exists, I wouldn't necessarily say that's not true. It's a little believable, but it's hard for me to grasp that concept. But it could be possible in a, like, if, like, the universe, like, let's say there was another part of the universe that was the past, and there was another part of the universe that was the future, and I'm existing in both of those. Like, that could be very much possible, but I don't know. I feel like that's what he's saying, right now. All three of us would have to, my past, present, and future self would all have to exist in the current moment. Right. Yeah, that's what they're saying to me, Lawton. They're saying that same thing about how it's going to cause a problem because it's at the angle. At least God is above time. Yeah. Yeah, if you're religious and you're saying that God is above time, then I think that's definitely makes sense. Like I said, I don't think time is a real construct of anything. Yeah, exactly. See, like that's why I'm saying it's not unbelievable, because it's like exactly. It's still somewhere out there, the future or the past. Everything's just predetermined in a way. Yep. Exactly. That's exactly. That's another. That is an additional reason onto the free will idea. If you think that the future and the past are currently existing, or if you think they already exist together. Oh no. I've been frozen this whole time. I love that for you guys. I'm so sorry about that. Hold on. I wish y'all said something in the chat, cuz I got 3 viewers in here. But here you guys go. Let me. Oops. Excuse me, sorry. Alrighty, there we go. Sorry about that. I should have known it wasn't going to be that easy.
Like you can mold your future with your decisions. It really feels like you're free to choose to stop watching YouTube to not miss the bus. But if the future is set in stone, you can't decide anything. So are your choices an illusion? Well, maybe. Maybe your free will is a mirage, and
That's interesting. I had no idea he was actually going to talk about that.
maybe you missing the bus was already predetermined at the Big Bang, so
Probably.
feel free to continue watching. Except, quantum stuff is ruining everything again. Quantum processes can't be predicted, not even in principle. Not because we're silly and don't know how to do it. According to quantum physics, quantum particles are intrinsically random. For example, if you have a radioactive atom, it could decay at any moment, in the next second or in the next million years. We can calculate the probability that it will decay tomorrow, but no oracle in the universe will ever be able to tell you with absolute certainty if it will do so or not. But quantum particles can change the world. Imagine a radioactive element randomly decays and causes a genetic mutation.
What city are you in? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to tell me, but I'm just curious to know. Oh, and you're good? All good. I pause these videos a lot, so that is not surprising that you were wondering or thinking that it's paused.
In a nearby mammal. And then many generations later, that mutation has led to a weird mix of duck and mammal that makes no sense. Or the atom decays a day later, and the weird creature will never exist. If quantum stuff is really uncertain, the future can't be set in stone. But if the future is an untold story, it can't be real in the same way as the past is. So what happens when uncertain things like the decay of our atom become real? Is that moment the present? Is this now? But before we saw that cosmic democracy makes it impossible to define an absolute now. What's going on here? It turns out that
One thing to take into consideration too is we don't even know what we're living in right now. Like we're just living life on a day-to-day basis, but there's no proof on to like how we could be living in the future presently, if that makes sense, or we could be living in the past presently. We could be living in a simulation that literally where none of this is real. So, that's also something you gotta take into consideration, where like this could all just not be real as well.
Every individual object, you, an alien, an atom, the past, the present, and the future are always
Detroit,
well
man.
defined.
Shout out to Detroit.
Your
I'm
death will
right
always
by
happen
there. I'm in
after your
northern
birth,
Kentucky,
never before, and never at the same time.
right by Cincinnati.
Now you are clearly between your birth and your death. So for you at least, now makes perfect sense. If we don't play tricks like going to the other side of the universe and using aliens in funny ways to find out what now means, things again start to look ordered and nice, and individual nows seem to exist. Can we do something with them? Let's return to our block universe. Maybe the block does not contain the future, and maybe we just imagined it wrong. Maybe the block is just the past, and a thin layer on the surface is the present. That surface is not.
You know, I heard that even the present isn't really a real thing. You're living every moment in like a thought from the past, like even if it's just by seconds. You know, you whenever you're thinking about something, it's like in the past. You know, like you can't really think of something in the moment, if that makes sense. You know, but you get the actual concept, but you really can't. Everything you think of is just a millisecond in the past in a way.
Smooth but bumpy,
You know,
and
everything I
uneven.
just said was in the past.
It's been made by joining countless individual nows, each experienced by someone or something in the universe, each equally real and valid. And all observers do their bit, so cosmic democracy is still true. As new things happen and uncertain things become certain, radioactive atoms decay, new species of mammals arise, people miss the bus, the border moves upwards, creating new time in the universe. Instead of a frozen block of time with a future that has already been written, the block is growing and things happen. You can again decide your future.
I guess that's like
Maybe
the two different concepts. Is the future pretty much exists and it's predetermined, like he said, in a block, or it's a bumpy road and things change as we choose to make decisions. I think, like I said, I think those are both very ideal. Like both of those could very much be possible.
leave earlier so you won't miss the bus.
To think one of those.
What is real then?
To think one of those is more possible than the other, I feel like is a little ignorant. But everybody has their opinion, and I get it. I do get it.
Let's recap.
But I just don't even know which one I could lean more towards at all. They both make perfect sense to me.
We started with time as a movie, one now after another, where only the current now was real. Then we found out that because of relativity, there are multiple nows, all of them real somehow, which could mean that we're living in a frozen block universe where things don't happen and you don't really have free will. And we ended up with a kind of growing block universe where time passes and the future is open. So which is correct? What is real? The present?
To be fair, what I will say about this is one idea. It's weird because I do sometimes think that about the block universe. I think kind of what's going to happen is what's going to happen, but I do think everybody's in control of the decisions they make. But I don't know. Like, it's so weird because it could be possible that they're not. Like, I don't know. I feel like what happens in my life, I'm fully in control of. And I can choose to make different decisions as far as, like, if I wanted to go out and drink every weekend, I could very much do that if that's what I wanted to do. But to that same fact, I could stay home and grind all weekend, and that's what I want. That I could choose to want to do that. But, like, that thought in my head of me choosing to wanting to do that, is that really me wanting to do that, or is that just already determined? Damn, I have an accent. I got long lost runaway whitewash family in Cincinnati. That's hilarious. No, I'm literally from Cincinnati pretty much. Like, I'm right across the bridge. But that's hilarious. There's a lot of whitewash people over here in Cincinnati and Kentucky, northern Kentucky. You get close to like Newport and Covington, Kentucky.
The past? Are the dinosaurs as real as you are right now? What do the aliens on the other corner of the universe think about all this? To be honest, no one knows. What we've learned are two possibilities to describe time, but they're not the only ones. Some scientists think that the idea of now only makes sense near you, but not in the universe as a whole. Others think that time itself doesn't even exist, that the whole concept is an
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think like it's a matter of time before we have someone who just lives for like 200 years or some shit. And then like maybe like in the future if I were to find out that humans could end up living for a very long time or maybe even be immortal due to certain circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised. I think everybody should die like as like in a good way, but like I feel like that's a lot of reason why we base time off of it's like age.
illusion of our human mind. And others think that time does exist, but that it's not a fundamental feature of the universe. Rather, time may be something that emerges from a deeper level of reality, just like heat emerges from the motion of individual molecules, or life emerges from the interactions of lifeless proteins. We could go on, but aren't you about to miss the bus? The concept of time is abstract and elusive, possibly beyond complete human comprehension. Fortunately, there's a vast world of things we do understand about the universe that you can explore right now.
Yeah, I think this was a great video, and I hope people watch this video because, well, first of all, go check out this video if you want to watch the full video without my reaction. Did the future already happen? The paradox of time. And I really like this idea because I like how they talked about free will in this. Right here, check him out. I really like that idea because it's something I never would have thought correlated with each other. As like I was not thinking in this video that he would be talking also about free will, and I also didn't think they would go so hand in hand with each other. So I really like that video, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did the future already happen, or is it is it predetermined? Do you guys think that we kind of pave our way, or do you think present is the only form of time? You know, for me, I'm just really in between all those. They all make sense to me. I'm too much of one of those guys who have such an open perspective where I don't like to choose to make decisions. I like to just keep the open perspective and take all ideas, especially when it's things we don't know, into consideration. You know, I can take all the facts that we know, but at the end of the day, none of that actually gives us a finite answer on what it is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what kind of videos you guys like to see me go live and review. Thank you guys, the 3 viewers, for tuning in. My boy Lawton, thanks for commenting in the chat. It's the first time I've talked with anyone in the chat, so thank you guys for watching this video. And if you are watching this video after it's uploaded, I post lives on cool, interesting videos, do reactions, put my opinion on it. I post shorts about physical growth, you know. I'm in the gym every day, so those are quick videos too as well. And then try to put out a vlog every now and then just to kind of talk to you guys a little bit more personally and not aside from the reacting and the gym stuff, just kind of talking to build a community together. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if this video was